I'm Walter.
And I'm Wolfgang, and we are
Angry Nation.
And you are watching Stormbringer, the Austrian heavy scene.
Guys, how did the band come together in the first place? Because you two used to play in a band years ago called Disgrace, and later on Dark Side a bit. How did you meet again, and how did the band come together?
Yeah, I think it was 2005 or 2006, and I meet Wolf at home, and we heard together some demos from a project he made with Alessandro at this time. And that's the first time I had Alessandro playing. This time I was very impressed for his skills, and thought by myself, wow, that's a drummer for a project for me. And yeah, later, after 2 gigs with Darkside in Turin and in Salzburg, I began to write songs and record by myself in my home studio some main riffs. And yeah, then I was full of work in my job, and for years ago guitar playing was not a theme. And in 2014 I start to think about the project, about the political things around in Europe and the world. And so I remembered that Alessandro was a very skilled drummer. I contacted Wolf, asked him for the vocals, and yeah, that was the beginning of Angry Nation.
So it's not a project anymore, it's a real band now. I think you're working on the second album already, writing songs, stuff. What did you say when Walter came to you and wanted to play again with you in a band?
Well, for me it was surprising, but it was a pleasant surprise, because we had been friends for a long time, and it's always better to work with people you like. So and also the themes and the musical stuff he offered me were quite interesting, so I agreed to do it with him. And since then it started as a project, but right now I think it's a band, at least between us two, because Alessandro of course is far away, but I think he will be part of the next album also.
But he's around with other projects of you as well.
Well, we can talk about that later.
Yeah. You got your own record label as well. We do this as a separate interview. But is it was it in the first place because you were friends and you knew him from other bands and stuff like that, or was it just like a work relationship that you could come to him because he got all the studio experience and stuff like that?
I had a concrete concept in my mind about Angry Nation. And I know Wolf as a very aggressive, a very forced singer and vocalist, and I thought that it was the right choice for this music, aggressive, straightforward. And of course we are friends since more than 30 years ago, and
he's a workaholic as well.
Yeah,
I guess.
Of course, I agree. Yeah, and so it was logical to contact Wolf, and I'm very proud that he said yes to this.
But there's one red line in most of the projects and bands you did. For example, it's very political and very. You talk about things which are actual in the politics or in going on in the world, or some stuff like that.
I wouldn't say political. I would say it's more social critical. So I try to keep politics out of the music and out of the lyrics as well. I only have one thing that I always condemn. This is rightist policy. I can't stand rightist policy, and I will always stand against that. But other than that, I try to not implement politics in the music and in the lyrical themes.
Not even as a metaphor or something?
No.
But it's always very, Angry Nation and your other projects as well, of course. The lyrics and the titles of the songs are always very negatively, if you read them or you read the lyrics. What was the lyrical concept behind Angry Nation? Are the lyrics from you or from him?
The lyrics explicit is from Wolf, but we made together a concept. I had in my thoughts the social thing, and the last 5 years was what's happened in Europe with immigrants, with political fails and things like this. And of course, there are negative words and negative vocals in the lyrics, but we have to keep the fingers, and so that's wrong. Now hear and think about, and I think this is the basics for the vocals.
So you give the people things to think about in the lyrics.
Yeah. Not only to read in the newspaper and next thing. No. Stop, think about, and change something.
You think this is a major problem today, that the people just are dominated by the media things like television or newspapers?
There's a big part of that in the Wolfhall album, for instance, where I used a lot of lyrics on this topic. I generally think that the media in this period dominates everything, but it's a domination towards the wrong direction, in my opinion. And people tend not to think about it at all. They're just like sheep, like they are guided, and they're glad in the situation that there is someone who guides them, which is not the case for me, because I always like to swim against the stream.
You're a free thinker.
Yeah, I could tell it like that.
Yeah. And did you incorporate something of this in the Angry Nation lyrics as well? This sheep stuff, people are like sheep, following leaders.
Yeah, I agree totally with Wolf's lyrics. Yeah, the concept is completely by himself. For my opinion, or better said, for me it's very important to not direct it in the right corner of politics. Yeah, I by myself in the middle or left. Yeah, it's a problem, I think, from the band name Angry Nation, and the problem from some lyrics to sort this in the right way. Yeah, I don't know if all the listeners read the lyrics. It's very important for me.
You can say it in the camera, the people will do it.
Yeah, yeah. Read the
lyrics.
and you understand a lot more. Yeah, I think it's a problem. It's a problem what's happened today, and maybe it's a little piece to make the things better. This album.
So musically, is it death thrash? Somewhere in between, I guess. Yeah. What are the influences musically for you?
It's a funny thing. We have a lot of reviews in the last weeks, and from progressive death, melodic thrash metal, everything is there. In my opinion, it's my style. I don't want to copy something. Yeah, of course.
Who does?
Of course. 30 years ago, we heard Slayer, Metallica, bands like this. For me, it's melodic thrash metal with some progressive elements, with some symphonic orchestral elements. I don't want to be pushed in a direction. maybe the listener, the one listener says it's thrash metal, the other says it's death metal. It's yeah.
But it's funny because you were making music all the time over the last 30 years, something. I think you were away from the business for quite many years because you were raising a family or something like that. How was it to be back together in the business all of a sudden? What things changed? What were the first things you noticed that changed?
It was very interesting. When I'm back in the business, everything is different. From the style, a lot of metalcore, a lot of deathcore.
No long hair.
No long hair, and the music scene for me is completely different as 20 years before. But it's very interesting and to give my roots in this time. Maybe a little bit old school riffing, from the style, from playing, from the picking, and to transport it in a new way. Yeah, it's an interesting thing.
How was it to make music with him again after so many years?
Well, of course.
Did he have to learn something on the guitar or something?
No, I don't think so. The environment was a complete different one. You don't go to rehearsal rooms anymore. At least we don't. With none of my projects, none of my bands, we don't rehearse. Like you used to rehearse like 3 times in a week.
It's a virtual rehearsal room.
It's a virtual rehearsal room. You record stuff, you send it to the other guys, and they send their ideas back, and it works way better than 20 years ago. But I enjoyed his stuff like right from the beginning, and I didn't even how do you say, speak a lot into it. I left him do most of the stuff. I trusted him because, of course, I knew the stuff he was playing, and I didn't want to involve myself too much into the songwriting because it would have got another turn, and I wanted to avoid that because this is his project, and I didn't want to change anything. So.
Yeah, so you got the other projects, and Angry Nation is an interesting band. You should listen to the album, which came out. Is it already out? Yeah.
Since 20th of June.
Yeah, which is out for over a month now. Yeah. Just try it. And what's the name, by the way? I forgot it. Name of the album?
The Fail Decade.
The Fail Decade. Angry Nation, The Fail Decade. It's nice to have a talk to you guys, and I hope we will see you on the stages as well.
Yeah, maybe next year in spring we plan some gigs. We have to look if Alessandro is with his booking, but I think that can work.
We're looking forward for that, and yeah, thanks guys.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.